Harry! Harry! Harry!
I may have lost 200 years of sobriety. Not drink, of course, I mean. I lost that not too long ago and have forgiven myself. I mean, the sweet intoxicant of rage. Dracunin thought he could inhabit me, and he did. But what he inhabited was my strength. And with my strength, a long-forgotten hurt. A hurt I had not felt in a very, very long time. Judicial rage. How else to put it? Judge, jury, and hangman. The executioner's bedtime story. The one, I mean, that puts his own self to bed. You are welcoming this hurt, and I'll make you thank me for it. The regret seeped into my being, but not until I felt Simon's arms around my neck, trying in vain to pull me off. Dracunin wasn't so handsome anymore. I remember thinking that. Not hatefully, not even that regretfully, just observing. I sat on the ground. It was only then I realized that Netto had truly gone. And then I was sick. Luckily, we were outside. I was embarrassed to do that in front of the kids. I heard Dracunin spit. I was grateful to know he was alive. More than alive. We watched as he got up, wiped his face. The lads looked horrified, unable to know what to do. Perhaps worried I was going to do more, or what he could do. But he could do nothing. And he stumbled, then regained his balance and laughed.
Bloody hell.
He took a tooth from his mouth.
A rare thing. Here, catch.
He threw his tooth to Brea. They caught it somehow in a pitiful way.
Oh, I don't think I need to apologize then. What's done is done. No worries. I'm fine. Nothing a few Scotch whiskies won't cure. That way to the pub, you say. Perhaps I'll just walk it off.
Simon looked like he was going to go after him. I grabbed his shirt, and he stopped. Although I felt ashamed to do so. What right did I have? What higher ground was I holding?
What was all that? Where did he go? I mean, Netto.
I don't know. I walked away. My legs felt a bit of a wobble, too. At last, in the middle of the path, I knelt. I grabbed a stick, reflexively. I drew a circle. Tried to remember what Netto had done on his hand with a cigarette. A line. There, and there, and there, if I remember correctly. A sigil. A sigil of shame. Sigil of rage. A sigil of fear. 3 exits, one more dangerous than the next. And Netto had wanted Dracunin with him, but Dracunin had inhabited me. I shuddered, almost felt like I was going to retch again. He found the space where my rage still wanted to live. Confusing, but he had tried, presumably, else he had set Netto up. Unlikely. It was not his cowardice. It was my cowardice that he had taken advantage of, the source of my rage. Not even cowardice, my innocence, my youth, my helplessness, all my loss, a bottomless sorrow. Mother. He touched that. A violation. But he did it to save himself, presumably, save himself from where Netto was going. And how could that not be Netto's own cowardice? I only knew that Netto had begun a new chapter. He was leading. He was taking the place of his sister. Something she wished for him. He knew I couldn't make this voyage with him. We had work to do here. To start, I would have to see if I hadn't spoiled everything with Dracunin. There would be time for that. If I knew anything about my strength, it's that it never stops short until they are thoroughly humiliated. That's something you can feel in someone's fists, the debasement. Shame, rage at first, then shame, my own, then his. And fear, perhaps for a moment, perhaps in being flung back to my origins. I can't say if someone like Dracunin feared my blows, truly feared death, though he has said he does. There was fear in Simon and Brea's eyes, that I regret immeasurably, to be seen as the predator and not just a man. That's all I've ever wanted, to just be a man. It rained in the Highlands that night. I was in no mood to get a good shiver going. When I got home, I was not expecting to see Dracunin. He wasn't there neither. Brea and Simon had made a fire and were talking in low volume with Balkus sleeping nearby and Leona cawing at my arrival. I had forgotten about them in the melee and was glad to see them unharmed. I could imagine Dracunin walking up the long, lone road back down, I could presume, towards Inverness, the pelting rain giving his wounds a sheen. I wished I could be in his position. Instead, I made a cup of tea and sat at the kitchen table. I felt that the lads were avoiding me, but it was no such thing. They were simply giving me space. Brea went outside to smoke, and Simon sat next to me.
So, what happened? If you're ready to talk. If not,
Yes, maybe in the morning. Short answer, though, I don't know. It's complicated. I won't be any good at saying what I think just now. Just mind your mind tonight with Dracunin's powers.
Oh, right. Well, actually, he took me aside before he left. He told me, apologized to me and Brea. There was no other way, I think. He couldn't leave the portal. He had to, he said. You were the only one strong enough. Didn't want to, and he said he doesn't want to do that anymore. Anyway, I think he was genuine.
I wiped a stray tear off my cheek, embarrassed.
Still, I guess he had no right. Is Neto all right? Where did he go?
I don't know. Thanks for telling me. Let's believe him, eh? Dracunin, I mean. This world isn't long without trust. It ended badly, but perhaps he wasn't meant to be here with us, I mean.
Brea was a little shook, by the way. It isn't personal.
Sure, I see. And you?
I'm okay if you're okay, Harry. Before this, I was actually doing better than ever, actually. Felt like I'd gotten over some things. I mean, I hope Neto's okay, but he's got to do his thing. I understand that, and I know he wants his sister back, or for her to be at peace or whatever.
Thanks. I tentatively put my hand on the boy's shoulder and went to my room. I could still feel the bruising on my knuckles where I had made impact with Dracunin's face. The violence was still reverberating. At first, in the moment, addictive, validating, but gradually, I felt like Shakespeare's Lady M with her blood-stained hands. I'd already washed them, but I still went to my room's water basin and wet them. There was the moon outside my window. A curtain of clouds parted for its full reveal. It was mocking somehow. The breeze and the intermittent rainfall flinging me back to the high seas, and before that, the islands, the chaos of my youth, but also the beauty. The stillness of being so far from everything. The stillness that was so precious before it was all consumed. Had I more innocence to lose? How much more can I protect? I tried to see if I could feel Neto in the moon. What had Dracunin said? The moon. He said it had something to do with the moon. Was that metaphor, symbology, or the possibility of space travel? A shooting star. Hopeful, let's say. The executioner whispered one last bedtime story, and I fell asleep fully clothed on my bed. The next morning, Balkus was on my back, purring loudly. Hello, chum. Thanks, you've seen me worse than this, I think. I don't know how much of you is still in there, Joseph, but if there is, you'd be well appreciated. We'd well appreciate Leona as well. She's staying with you, not that I can blame her. Balkus stopped purring for a moment. But just a moment, he purred a little more and then jumped off my back and through the gap in the door. I washed my hands again before coming down. Then I came back up, grabbed a few towels, and went to the bath. I drew a bath and lost time. The bath nearly overflowed. I got in it. It was lukewarm. I heard Brea presumably leaving.
Sure, have a good run.
I dressed rather formally. I didn't know why. It was brisk this morning, and I wanted layers for some reason to cover my shame. The sigil, I was glad that I'd drawn it. I made the pattern on my saucer with the residue tea. How did I know to call it this? Would I have known of it a mere few minutes later? It was the effect of Neto's magic, of Dracunin's perhaps. No. It was Agatha. Agatha's scribbles, the ones she did on my music notation on my sheet music, absent-mindedly like a girl in class. First thought, best thought, that's what she told me. Simon accompanied me back into the village. He went to the market while I revisited the grove. Balkis and Leona had stayed behind. Would he come out here, or the other ends of the earth? I sat in the middle of the circle, what was left of it. Then I lay down. The bend of the swaying branches made a vacillating circle above me. It reminded me, oddly, of a photograph of a woman's, well, an art piece that wasn't meant to be erotic. Shame. There it was. Why? Good God, if I should know. Here in my private thoughts. I had released all my rage onto Dracunin. I almost thought poor Dracunin, but part of me apparently felt he deserved it, channeling my protectiveness for Neto. Surely he had wanted Dracunin for a reason. Perhaps disappointment. And fear. The fear that shrank us into helplessness, into wanting to numb the drink. Oh God, drink was good for that. Everything stopped. Everything concentrated into the moment. Each repeated moment. And I could drink a lot. Yet I didn't drink much with Simon. And yet I felt intoxicated. That was the technology's effect, I suppose. Unless I had changed. I would have liked to have seen the big man for a little longer. I didn't think much about it when I jumped on the wolf's back. Hard to hate an animal, even one that wants to harm you. I was stunned at him floating like that. It felt unreal, despite all that I'd seen in my life. It was peaceful here. But I didn't think I was any closer to helping Neto get back. I bought some pasta and some more olive oil, some biscuits. I looked at my hand suddenly. Funny, it was still bruised. I'd never bruised so much hitting a man's face. Simon, I'd forgotten him. He caught up to me laughing.
Forget me?
Sorry, lost time a bit. Went to the place.
That's okay. I'd like to go back there again, too. Maybe when there's a thunderstorm to try that again. That was exhilarating. As much as it was scary that Neto was just, gone, but my powers felt a little different. It's kind of like catching a wave, kind of...
Whoops, I caught sight of what was in Simon's bag. He'd bought olive oil and pasta, too.
Oh, you shopped, too? What did you get?
I showed him.
All right, double servings tonight.
When we got home, Brea had left a note. It said,
Dear Harry, Simon, and the critters. Something has come up. Nothing of consequence to you, I think. Still, I wanted to get going and catch the next bus. Be back in a week, I imagine. Anyway, appreciate you. It's been wild. I guess most of my life has been wild, but meeting yous has been life-changing. In more ways than one. Don't mean to ghost you or anything, but... So I'll definitely try to be back. Affectionately, Brea. Simon, don't forget we're low on blue cheese. You told me to remind you. Harry told you to remind him.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I had a sense.
Did I...
No, I mean, it's a good thing, I think. Has to try to see someone, Maybe not unlike how I had to, get caught up in everything, my grandma, all that mess.
I made coffee and drank it on the deck. The weather was particularly changeable these days. Typically, I'd drink espresso or coffee with a little cream, but the sharp bitterness of the black coffee felt fitting to my contemplation. Leona flew up and landed on the deck with me, then flew off towards the horizon. Somehow I kept feeling spurned. I suppose that was the shame I was feeling. Interesting. I could feel the shame, and yet it wasn't consuming me. It stood as if standing leaning on the deck, looking at me, perhaps dominating me with his posture, but I didn't have to be moved by it. I took special consideration to drink the coffee slowly, to really consider its taste. I closed my eyes and forgave, as if it were something I believed were real. Like a vampire disappearing into the nothingness of space.